Coming up on this week's Progressive Bass Wrap-Up Show, Anglers Channel Pro staffer Vance McCullough brings highlights from the 2013 Bassmasters Classic down on Grand Lake in Oklahoma, plus FLW Tour action from Lake Okeechobee in Florida. We also salute our military from the Warriors on the Water tournament up on Jordan Lake in North Carolina, plus the Sportsman's Warehouse Product Spotlight and Pro Tip of the Week, Ranger Boats Anniversary Trivia, and much, much more. Straight ahead on this week's Progressive Bass Wrap-Up Show.
The Progressive Bass Wrap-Up Show.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. The Bassmaster Elite Series pros hit the water outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma, down on Grand Lake for the 2013 Bassmaster Classic, the Super Bowl of bass fishing. And our own Vance McCullough was there to capture all the action. Take it away, Vance.
All right, welcome everybody to the 2013 Bassmaster Classic, 43rd Classic here on Grand Lake near Grove, Oklahoma. We've had a great time in Tulsa. These boys are going to put it on the trailer here about 3, 4 o'clock this afternoon, go into Tulsa and weigh them up and see who wins $500,000, the big trophy, most importantly a title that can never be taken away from them, Bassmaster Classic. We're about to go chase them and watch it happen. We caught up with Jason Christie, local favorite. He's had a real good tournament, not quite taking the lead yet. He may take the lead on the day when it really matters, day 3 here. He's running around like a madman, jumping up, making 10 or 20 casts on the spot and moving again. He said yesterday he's not gonna have a jerkbait tied on. He's gonna get a jig, he's gonna go fish for big fish and run around like a madman and try to win this tournament on what is his home lake, a lake that he's dominated on at every level, except this one, the Bassmaster Classic. Here we see Cliff Pace, our leader, and he's starting out again with a jig. Word has it he caught 3 fish on the jig early yesterday and went on to cull his entire limit with a jerkbait late in the day. He had limits of 21 pounds 8 ounces and 21 pounds 12 ounces respectively this week, and with well over 43 pounds he's got a solid 7-pound lead on Brandon Polinick, and we see him here starting day 3 again, nice and slow, just dragging that jig early in the morning. And at this point, we don't have any bass track standings to rely on out here, but we haven't seen anybody catch any fish, and you have to wonder if all this boat pressure isn't maybe putting the hurt on the bite a little bit. There's been a pretty good bite window first thing in the morning for these guys, but we followed 2 of the leaders and haven't seen them catch a fish yet. Here we see Ike and Ellie skipping around this marina up here, fishing around these docks. Usually a solid pattern on a lake like Grand. Not sure if that's how he's caught most of his weight this week, but that's what he's doing right now, here on the final day of the 2013 Bassmaster Classic. From a wild and windy Grand Lake that's gotten wavy all of a sudden, with Mike, Ike, and Ellie fishing behind me, I'm gonna see y'all up at the BOK Center in Tulsa at the weigh-in.
Man, oh man, welcome to the Superdome of bass fishing. A packed house. You guys are ready to get this party started right here at the BOK Center. And man, what a party it is going to be. Absolutely incredible tournament we have had, and this tournament is not yet over. We are going to crown our champion right here on this stage. From Petal, Mississippi, give me a little bit of love for Game Face, Cliff Pace. Looking for 8.5, he's got 4 fish, 1 short of a limit. 11 pounds, 8 ounces. Cliff Pace has done.
Well, there you have it. Cliff Pace is your 43rd Bassmaster Classic champion, 2013 champion, right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Congratulations to him. He dominated this week. He earned it. From Tulsa, Oklahoma, this is Vance McCullough. Back to you, John.
Thanks, Vance, for the great work out on Grand Lake in Oklahoma at this year's Classic. Still ahead, we head to High Rock Lake in North Carolina and check in with the North Carolina division of the Anglers Choice Marine Team Trail. Plus our Strike King Pro Tip of the Week, FLW Tour action from the Big O in Florida, and much more right after this.
The Progressive Bass Wrap-Up Show, presented by Progressive Insurance, sponsored by Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time, and by Evan Root, 'Because your boat belongs on the water.
Welcome back, everyone. Last week we showed you some great coverage of the Angler's Choice Marine Team Trail up on Smith Mountain Lake in Virginia. Today we head to High Rock Lake for the North Carolina division of the Angler's Choice Marine Team Trail, and we're on the water with tournament director Chris Lucas.
Well, this is our first tournament of the year in the new Carolina division on the Angler's Choice Invitational Team Tournament Trail, and we've had a pretty good turnout. I think we're somewhere in the mid-40s as far as boats go, which is very small in comparison to the Virginia side of our trail, you know, with us being over 200 all the time in that one. But when we started the Virginia side, I remember our first tournament we had 35 boats in it. So got to start somewhere. So I'm pleased with the turnout that we've had, and guys, the fishing's tough. I hope they come back. The lake's muddy. The main channel out there is very muddy. There's a lot of bait here in the creeks that we found. We've seen people, you know, throwing some jerk baits, some reaction type baits, and we've tried all that. So we're gonna try real hard on a finesse bite right here, even in this stained water. And water temperature's it's 49.7 right now. It's about 46 this morning when we started. So these fish are still, a lot of them in the wintertime mode. It hadn't quite got them up there in the shallows real good yet. We fished this bank earlier today and had a couple of bites on it this morning and kind of fanned on them. We don't know. I saw a crappie boat sitting there close to us and they were catching crappie, so we don't know if it was crappie biting these small finesse worms or what it was. But so we said, you know, it's a lot of bait on this bank and a little wind blowing down it, and we got a bite or two on it, so we're gonna try it again. I keep waiting on my partner back there. I brought a ringer with me today. This is my 12-year-old son, Jacob, and I keep waiting on him to put on a clinic. I guess he's gonna wait till the last minute to do it, I reckon. We have to turn around and come back into the wind with the wind blowing so we can fish it real slow. Seems like everything they've wanted, they've just kind of wanted it in place and sitting there, but we hadn't had a whole lot to compare to, though. I can tell you the bite has been extremely tough. The only decent bite I've had today, I think, was right here off this old little boat ramp that's coming in the water. He's kind of on the end of that, I guess, sunning, and just came unbuttoned.
Like Chris stated earlier, the Angler's Choice Marine Trail is split into two divisions, Virginia and North Carolina, in the hopes of relieving some of the pressure from the Virginia side and spreading out the competition. Well, it did spread out the competition, but as far as relieving pressure on the Virginia division, that didn't happen. It was as strong as it's ever been. And the new North Carolina division is growing stronger with every single tournament. So all the split did was make one strong tournament trail with major entries into two strong trails with major entries.
We've been running between 200 and 230 teams tournament. Boat number 39, Brian Welch and Mark Lowe, they got one fish, 1.17. Hey, you're in third place, man. They got one fish. All these guys missed a memo. This is a 5-fish limit. 592, hold that baby up. Hold it up there so everybody can get a picture and they can get it on camera. 592, it's a pretty one. 4 fish, 4 alive. I believe we're going to have a new tournament leader.
Stand right over here on the other side.
See what they weigh.
Tournament leader.
Got a new tournament leader, 9.96 pounds, 996. Let's see if that holds up. Now we're back to normal. They got one fish. One alive, 3.97. That's a good one. Bringing 3 fish to the scales. Not a whole lot of weight today. Fishing's a little bit tough. 5.97 pounds. Next up to the scales, boat 27, Justin Goodyear and Tony Waterhouse. They've got 3 fish. 3 alive. Got a nice one in there we're going to take a look at too.
Justin Goodyear and Tony Waterhouse braved the tough conditions on High Rock and won the first North Carolina Division Angler's Choice Marine Team Trail event. Now we come to the Ranger Boats Question of the Week. You know, Ranger's the premier boat builder and has been for 45 years. We celebrate by testing your knowledge of America's premier boat manufacturer. Our question this week, Ranger boats received the first ever protected design hull copyright registration from the U.S. government in what year? Up next, we head to Lake Okeechobee in Florida for the FLW Tour event as AnglersChannel.com insider Vance McCullough brings us some great highlights. Plus, the Sportsman's Warehouse product spotlight with Strike King Pro Tip of the Week. Stay with us.
The Progressive Bass Wrap-Up Show, presented by Progressive Insurance, by Strike King Lures, by Sportsman's Warehouse, and by Snag Proof.
Get all the answers to the Ranger Boats question of the week by logging on to www.mydreamrig.com. Welcome back. Now it's time to look at our Strike King Pro Tip of the Week, brought to you by Sportsman's Warehouse. Today we join Andy Montgomery on Kentucky Lake telling us about the bladed swim jig.
You know, the 4-day tournaments we fish, you know, a bladed swim jig, it'll hold up for 4 days. I mean, you may not catch every single fish on it, but you know, I've had some really close calls with the pure poison on actually winning national tournaments. I almost won the Toyota Texas Bass Classic. I lost by 4 ounces. I finished second, and I caught pretty much every one of them on a bladed swim jig. Finished third at Chickamauga in the FLW tournament. I caught pretty much every one of them on a bladed swim jig. So, you know, it's definitely a bite that you can ride for 4 days. Not necessarily fishing the same area. You may have to change areas. You know, I like to run patterns, and you know, if you get on a pattern, you can run new water and make it last for 4 days. Grass, you know, you can get in a good grass bed and catch them for 4 days on the bladed swim jig. I've done it at Potomac. I've had some really good tournaments at the Potomac where I've caught them pretty much every day on a bladed swim jig. So, you know, it's definitely a bait that you can ride for 4 days if they're biting it. You know, a bladed swim jig, it's so versatile. You know, the pure poison, you can fish it deep, shallow, suspended fish. It's just, you know, the possibilities are endless on what you can do with this bait. And then, you know, I'm gonna go back to it, and I can't emphasize enough of how you can just simply change the trailer and have a new bait and, you know, fish it in different situations. And, you know, one thing we hadn't talked about is fishing it out deep on ledges. Kentucky Lake's known for ledges, and you know, when the bladed swim jig first come out, I was fishing as a co-angler on this lake, and I caught them 20 foot deep on a bladed swim jig, and I was actually stroking it off the bottom like you know, like they do a jig around here. So you know, the possibilities of a bladed jig are just, you know, endless. You know, they're just endless. I mean, I don't know what to say, but it all goes back to the trailer. Changing the trailer gives you a new bait and gives you a lot of different situations and different circumstances that you can use the bait.
AnglersChannel.com pro staffer Vance McCullough was on hand for the first FLW Tour event of the 2013 season on the Great Lake Okeechobee, and files this report.
All right, it's morning of day 4, final day here at the FLW Tour event on Lake Okeechobee, first FLW event of 2013. Here come our top 10 finalists. The only 10 guys will be fishing today. They got the lake to themselves, a lot of room spread out. Lake always fishes kind of small though, so let's see how that plays out today. We got the wind coming out of the east pretty good. That may pin some guys down. You know, a lead may go a long way today. And young Drew Benton, he's got 1 pound lead on the rest of the field, and he has the potential to really bust a big bag in his spot. And this could be a real exciting weigh-in today. But here they go, day 4, top 10 contestants.
Yeah, yesterday was all about surviving. I didn't think that I was going to be leading by no means, but I just wanted to keep myself close, and I thought I had done that, but did a little bit better. The wind was rough on everybody, and you know, it just worked out.
Drew Benton is getting bites back in here, but he's having a hard time getting a solid hookup with these fish. They're coming up and blowing up on that swim bait, so he's locating them. That's his bird dog lure, and then he's throwing back in there with that Bang Lures fluke style bait. It's a real subtle little bait. loaded with attractant, and you'd think they'd hold on a little better. He's getting a hook in some of them, but there's so much pad cover and stuff in here. It's a real fight. You got to fight on your hands when you hook one back in here, and he just lost a couple of fish, but at least they're biting. Maybe they'll start eating the bait gone for him here in a minute, and he can actually put one in the boat. Very frustrating for a 24-year-old man fishing for $125,000, leading this thing on the final day. Yeah, I know he wants to get something in the box and get some confidence going. All right, one of the things that they do, one of the ancillary bits of action here at an FLW tournament is you got some of these Castrol pros that did not make the cut, like Mike Sermon over here and David Dudley over here to my right. They're taking out some local dignitaries and entertaining them and letting them enjoy the beautiful resource that is Lake Okeechobee, right here in the area of Clewiston. And having a good time, even though they didn't make the cut out here. Enjoying a beautiful day. Old Drew Benton's got a fish on right there. There he goes. Fish number 1 of the day. Put it in the boat, Drew. Attaboy. There you go. Hey, there's a good start. There's day 4. He needs 4 more like that. All right, we've caught up with Wade Hendricks, who was in 4th place when they launched this morning. He's over here on the west side of the lake where we're getting pummeled by this east wind. They said it'd blow 12 to 15, and it's doing every bit of that. And this area is kind of getting trashed. It looks like he's having a slow day, like most of the guys are. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a fight to the finish here on Lake Okeechobee. You see Wade's pitching into this grass, just repeatedly pitching out in this hay and pencil reed and mix of vegetation out here. I'm not sure if he's got a fish located. It would appear he does. We'll stay with him a minute and see what he can get going. And we just saw a swing and a miss there. Wade had a bite. Pitch back in and give that fish another chance. Patience is probably going to really be a virtue on a day like this. These FLW Tour weigh-ins are more than just a weigh-in. They're a carnival for the whole family. They've got all kind of activities to keep the kids entertained, and Ranger boat simulator they can drive, and it's just a great show. The whole family can come down and enjoy a couple hours before they watch these pros weighing all these big old Okeechobee bass.
I came here, I wanted to sight fish. That's what I love to do when I come down here. The fish didn't want to cooperate doing that this week. I did catch a few sight fishing, but a majority of them came on my bladed swim jig this week. That really set the tone. I was able, the second day, I caught a small limit. I run down there and culled them all out. You were with me. Culled them all out in a matter of about 10 or 15 minutes and culled up to 23 pounds. And that just set the tone. It's where I caught the 7-pounder today. There was fish coming in. They were all pre-spawn, and it was a pretty neat little deal.
We salute the men and women of our military next at the 8th Annual Warriors on the Water Tournament up on Jordan Lake in North Carolina. Stay with us.
This portion of the program is sponsored by Buckeye Lures and by Anglers Channel. If it has to do with fishing, you'll find it at anglerschannel.com.
The 8th Annual Warriors on the Water Tournament was held this past month, and what a turnout it was. Over 150 anglers showed their appreciation to those serving in our military by taking a serviceman fishing on Jordan Lake.
Today, April 19th, 2013 is our 8th annual bass tournament. And behind me you have a couple of, we have a boater that volunteered to take a soldier out fishing today. In the back of the boat is the soldier, active duty from the Army, military, Marines, Navy, and so forth. And this is, like I said, this is our 8th annual event. Put it on every year and have 150 plus boats out here today fishing with all volunteers. All the anglers volunteer their time to come out and take these soldiers fishing for the day. And like I said, what we have here is we have this boat here behind us, and they're trying to catch big fish for the day.
This annual tournament salutes those who serve. Like Michael Green stated, some of these servicemen and women have never been on a boat, a lake, and some have never been fishing. It's always amazing to see the support anglers across the country are willing to give to say thanks to those serving our country. Texas Roadhouse and others come to make sure the anglers are well fed after a great day on the water. Family and friends all gather as the boats come in with their catch. Army Staff Sergeant Dylan Mask and his civilian angler Will Blanton took home the trophies with 5 fish coming in at a whopping 21.20 pounds. Here's some other area tournament news you'll have an interest in. Coming next week, highlights of the 2013 Bassmasters Southern Open from Douglas Lake in Tennessee, as well as the Oakley Big Bass up on Smith Mountain Lake in Virginia, plus the Santee Cooper Open Team Tournament and much more. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you next week.